The dream is the individual I'm real. It has lots of apparent facets and complications and complexities in the dream of the individual. It arises out of a contracted energy in the body that says it knows. And out of that comes meaning and purpose and the need to fulfill that. And so I, with my apparent free will and choice, make decisions through time to try to find what I feel is lost. All the while, there being only what can't be lost. The whole dream happens within what's longed for. There is only what's longed for.
What is the purpose of life?
There isn't a life and there isn't a purpose. There's simply this happening, which is emptiness or no thing appearing. No thing, there we go. No thing appearing.
Thank you. What is this mystery or paradox?
Well, it only sounds, mystery or paradox, I think you're talking about the message or non-dualism.
That's right, yeah.
You could say it's a mystery, and when we speak about it, it sounds like a paradox. And it only sounds like a paradox because it can't be said, actually. So you could say it's what is and isn't, because what you're trying to express can't be expressed. So it sounds like a paradox. But there is no what is and what isn't. There's only happening, and it's indescribable and unknowable. And so the effort to describe it or point to it, it always sounds like a paradox.
Are there any enlightened people?
I bet you there's some out there that have the experience for a little while that they're enlightened. There's certain states that the illusory I can experience that feel very enlightened. And with that enlightened experience comes the need to tell people about it and to help them find the same enlightened state that I've found. Well, as far as the message is concerned, consciousness, awareness, I'm not sure how soul fits into that exactly. Soul for me is a religious concept, are just different forms of knowing. The experience of the individual when it's confronted with awareness or consciousness, there's a solidity to it that there's something there to reflect on or to hold on to. It likes that, and being conscious feels like a different state than normal state of awareness, and so that's preferable sometimes because you can find distance to the emotions or feelings that are so problematic for the individual. But as far as the non-dualism concerned, as far as this message is concerned, they're just part of the dream.
Thank you. What is unconditional love?
What is unconditional love? The same as no thing or non-dualism. It's something that can't be described. And in the same as non-dualism and no thing, that's all there is. There is nothing other than unconditional love.
Is there such a thing as wisdom?
Wisdom? Yeah, I mean, in a spiritual sense, there's that would be a part of the dream. And as far as how to make a really good butter chicken, there's some wisdom that goes along with how to make a really good butter chicken, especially through experience. You get more and more wisdom on making a better and better butter chicken. But as far as from non-dualism comes from, no, it's just a part of the dream.
This is a big question that everybody asks. What is God?
The hope of the individual.
What is the difference between spirituality and non-duality?
Well, spirituality has God in it, hope in it. It has to do with you, what you can find, states of awareness, feeling better. It speaks, one of the basic tenets, and this is, this message is, this is already unconditionally free. Within that arises an experience that something has to happen. That something has to happen is completely reflected in spirituality, because spirituality agrees with that something has to happen, and it offers an endless supply of what has to happen for what seems to be lost to be found. And that is just simply a part of the illusory experience of the individual. And just so that we're clear, even that experience that something has to happen is unconditional, unrecognizable freedom appearing as that. There is never anything else. So the end of the individual isn't a happening. It's the end of something that never happened.
What is the difference between Advaita Vedanta and contemporary non-duality?
Advaita Vedanta is a teaching that has a lot of precepts that suggest there's a real individual that needs to prepare itself in certain ways to get closer to or to learn non-dualism. And contemporary non-dualism, as we're talking about it here, does not recognize an individual, period. It has no compromise for that experienced need. It's just obvious that that need, that expectation or that sense that something has to happen is completely illusory. That it has no need, there's no need for this to, there's no way to bring about the unconditional freedom that this is already. And at the same time, nothing ever happens that could make it go away. So the whole idea that there's something that needs to happen to bring it about is just seen as completely illusory.
Thank you. Is non-duality a concept then? It's just a pure concept.
I mean, you can talk about it as a concept. I mean, you know, a word is a concept, but the suggestion behind it, and I think it, you know, if you think about it, non-dualism isn't actually a thing. It's actually talking about what isn't. And that has intention. It's because you can't say this is oneness. It's just not two-ness. So as a concept, it's pointing to something that's non-conceptual.
So is non-duality unknowable then?
Absolutely. That's why it says not two and not one. One would be something that you could know. Not two is pointing to the unknowability of this appearance. But just so that we're clear, when we're talking about this, we're not talking about something somewhere else. We're actually literally talking about this happening. This is not two-ness appearing as a conversation.
And the question will arise, what is this then?
Well, there isn't a this. So in spirituality and all those other things, what happens is you can reduce the experience of the individual to something that's like now. Because the individual has an experience that I'm real. And so then it has this now, which is real, which is logical. Non-dualism, or the message, points out there isn't a now. There is no positional reality. There's no way to reduce anything back to, because there's nothing real to find. I forgot the question.
I'll come up with a classic spiritual question. What is, oh, no, who am I? And who are you?
It's a dream. It's a dream that arises out of a contracted energy, and the experience is I'm real. It's just a dream. And it's a dream that's actually not happening. It has certain claims, experiential claims that arise with it. I am real, this is real, this has meaning and purpose. And when that falls away, when that stops happening, it never happened, because it's just only within that dream reality that it has any reality at all. And when it's gone, it never happened, because that dream reality disappears with leaving nothing behind.